Hello, everyone. I have been having technical difficulties. If you can hear me, please type in. I'm having to use my phone instead of my laptop. Please type a 1 if you can hear me. All right. Let me turn that up. Let's see. Please put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. And thank you for joining Lizzabitty today. I see I have some viewers out there. I'm trying to make sure that you can hear me. Awesome sauce. Okay, let me put it on my other phone, but I will turn the volume down. Thank you guys, and welcome to the Lizzabitty channel. I am your host, Lizzabitty. Thank you for joining me today. And so what we're going to talk about today is preparing our children versus indoctrination. Okay. Now, what does that mean? I do have some notes here that are going to be trickling across the screen. Okay. But before we get into it, let's talk about the 2021 panorama variants. I want to get some current events out the way. So let's go with the first one. Okay. This debauchery right here. This shenanigans. And you know what's strange to me? I have been all over the Hughes site. I am not finding anything definitive as to why they're picking these names for these things. Now, if someone knows something in the chat, drop down in the chat and drop me a gem. I'm wondering why they're naming these things, Greek identifications. Don't you find that peculiar? And it's not that I'm in any organization. I just find it to be very, very, very peculiar. Now, keep this in mind. In saying that, a lot of channels, including this one that you're watching right now, are being shadow banned for all types of purposes. Okay. I get messages a lot from Massive Dynamic that says my stuff is a little bit harsh. Yeah, okay, whatever. And that could be it. But anyway, so because I normally try to go on here at the peak times that they say. Okay, so I go on at the peak times, and here we go. So anyway, yes, the 2021 panorama and these new variant names, child, something's going on. And I'm not quite sure what it is. Okay. So let's look at this next thing here. I was reading about this, and the Zambian president is talking about how he is trying to clear out all of this corruption. I read an article on, was it Medium or BBC, where he was talking about with the previous regime, all of the corruption, and he is making it his mission to clean up all of this corruption. Okay. Hey, all you got to do is say hats off to that. All you have to do is say hats off to that. Anytime there's progress on the continent, we have to say hats off to the people that look like us. We have to get big up them when they're trying to do right by their own. So yeah, recently the Zambian government, I want to say it may have been 4 or 5 months ago, they missed a debt payment on all these loans that they had. And so, yeah. And this particular Zambian president, as you know, this was his 6th time running, and he won on the 6th time, which tells our children, pursuant to the topic today, you don't have to give up. You don't have to give up. You never know when your win is going to come. You never know when your win is going to come. Okay? So that's something. That's something. All right. Before I put the discussion topic up, let me go into the chat and see who's in here. Let's go into the chat. Okay, we got Clarence, we got Kia, we got my sister Synovia. Hey, doll. We have Angie. Yes. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. You know I don't like to tarry too long. I like to jump and get right into it. Okay. As we discuss this, I will be repeating the Rarible video so that you all can know how to go and purchase the Afro-Ethiopia song, because it's up, it's live. All right. So I played it at the beginning of the intro. I will play it again so you can see how to do that. All right. So here we go. So this is our target. How are you preparing your children for Mama Kebula? And not only that, let's just say, how are you preparing your children for moving abroad internationally? Now, recently there was an article that someone sent me this article. Okay. We're talking about technology. We're talking about educating our children. A lot of the Western children are programming themselves with low attention spans, etc., poor social skills, etc., because of electronics. So listen to this. In China, kids are limited to playing video games for only 3 hours per week. 3 hours per week. Okay? It says it's getting dangerously close to game over for some of the gamers in China, because, you know, you have a lot of gamers and people that game, and they use gaming basically to make a living or whatever. And this article is saying, since they're cutting it down to 3 hours a week in game, no more. As well as another article that was talking about all of the effeminization of men, etc. They are removing all of that off TV, off the television. The people who don't comply supposed to be fined. They're trying to get back to, I guess, what we call normalcy, if you will. Something that damn Erica is never going to do, because the fix is already in. The fix is in. But China is saying this is what they're doing because they recognize as well that the children are the future. Something that we need to recognize. We need to recognize that the children are our future, regardless of what we think about all of this other stuff. If we don't have our children together, how are we going to persevere as the human race? We're not. Okay? We're not. And the truth of the matter is, we are being bullied for other people's way of lives, which really makes no sense to me, because without the man and the woman, we know that procreation ceases. Now, here's the caveat to that. Someone also sent me something talking about this particular woman, where she's classified as a woman, and she's trying to do the artificial uterus so that she can get pregnant. She wants to be like basically the test case. No, I saw that on Sly's channel. That's what it was. I think I saw it on Sly's channel. So in the topic, the discussion point, how are we preparing our children to live abroad? You're going to have to get accustomed to thinking about child rearing at a point in the terms of how you were reared. In that, when I was a kid, and some of you all may be able to resonate with this, we were always outside. We were always outside. Always. Okay? And then when it was hot, I mean, someone may go and turn the water hose on and you get some water from the water hose. Or if you're in the country somewhere, someone may have had a cooler with ice water, etc., etc. But we were always outside. So our social skills and how to interact with one another, high on the list. in terms of us having that skill set already. Whereas now, because of all of the social media and all of the technological advances, video games, cell phones, etc., 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 every time you see children, they're all doing what? And so when you see a lot of them, or even friends that I still have that are educators, and they talk about how the children do not know how to socialize, this is why. If you've been a long time follower of this channel, I have always told you that technology is a benefit, but it's also a curse. Technology is good, but it's also bad. STEM is great. It is. There's, I mean, the imagination and all of that stuff is beyond your anything you could imagine within your mind frame. So it's endless. But with that comes a price. With that comes the price. And our children who are indoctrinated in the West, they have that problem. Yeah. Unless they have strict parents who are standing by and saying, listen, you are only going to be on your phone at this time. You only get this XYZ number of hours to play video games. Or the minute you come in, you're not going to be on television, cell phones, video, all of these things that would distract them from the main thing, getting down to business, education. Okay. So I say to those of you who will even watch the replay, when you think about getting yourself acclimated onto the continent or wherever you and your family, you and your children are going, you're going to have some truths about how you are going to get this together. If you recall last year when the family from America went to Ghana, one of their biggest gripes was the internet. Okay. Now, that was actually the second biggest gripe. We know what the first biggest gripe was, but we're not talking about that right now. But the internet, because our children are used to always just sitting online. Yeah. And so unless if they're trying to do some business, okay, I understand the frustration. If you operate a business that is solely online, but we're talking about children here. Now, unless they run a company themselves, because children do, there are some children that have companies. I don't know if you're familiar with Gabby Bowles. She makes the barrettes for the little black girl that makes the barrettes for your hair and stuff. And so they won't fall out. But you have the gentleman, what's his name? Little boy. He's so cute. He makes cookies. Oh, what is his name? He is so cute and adorable with this big afro. You have a little boy. I mean, they make candles. So you have entrepreneurs, sure. But you're going to have to think about how you're going to do this. This whole transition is not going to be for the faint at heart. Acclimating your child before they actually get onto the place that you're moving would be advantageous for you. This would help you to eliminate a lot of the ills and headaches, growing pains that they are going to experience when you make this grandiose move. Yes, if you start now with trying to wean them off of certain activities, or if you're not going to wean them off the activities, but reducing the time. You know, it is a person like me who I love children, but what I recognize is because we give them so many things, when they can't have those things, they get a little loopy. They get a little loopy about the whole situation. Okay. And so what I would say to you, as I previously said, please attempt to wean them in a way so that they can become acclimated and not have such strife and struggle. you know, because yes, and there's lots of parents who have come from the West and are on the continent. They're moved there, and I'm sure I've reached out to some people, so I will be starting some interviews once I get my schedule and stuff done, and we'll have some different people come on and we'll be talking to you about some things. But I'm sure some of these parents can tell you about this particular thing. If you recall, if you watched Expat Life Ghana, you know, I plug them a lot because they are a family that has done this. Husband and wife, 2 boys. Their oldest son, I believe his name is Luke. He wanted an iPad. He wants this iPad. Now she has never come back out because she discussed it when he was first asking for this iPad. She has never come back out to say if he has gotten this iPad or not. Okay, so I'm unsure if he got the iPad. But what that told me as well is that she really monitors the time that they are engaged in technology, internet. Okay. So what you will find too on the continent, and my sister Sonovia here can probably attest to that as well, is that what you see, especially when you get away from like, let's say big city, Accra, like this, you see a lot of kids still playing outside. And it's so refreshing because we have lost our sense in regards to the West. With that, you still see the children playing outside. I like that. I like that. You know, just the sense of being normal. To be normal in this day and age is, the children don't understand it now, but it really, really is awesome. It is a grand gesture to be able to walk outside and play. And you don't have to worry about anyone taking advantage of you, anything to this regard. But you can just be. Just being. I mean, wow. Oh, I don't know what to say. To be able to just be a kid, as long as a kid can be a kid. My goodness. I wish that all children would have that experience, you know. It's going to be interesting as they grow older too, when they look back, the things that they will recant from their memory and say about their childhood and all of this stuff. So what I want you to do is to prepare your children for an international move. There's so many important things that one can do when they are making their list for the grand move. But certain things are going to have to have precedence over others. And if you have children, of course, that should be number one, because you're going to have to figure out how to acclimate your child to this new environment. Now, children are resilient, but the problem is, for us, a lot of us are not willing to tell our children no, because we're trying to be their friends and all of these shenanigans. Children need guidance and discipline. Guidance and discipline. And I don't necessarily mean discipline in terms of the physical sense, but discipline in order about how you do things. They need that. And so we want you to be successful in your move. Now, remember, if you're looking for a consultation, to hit me on my email at onelizzabitty@gmail.com, and all of that good stuff. But yes, we have got to prepare our children for international moves appropriately. It is advantageous to us, and we really need to get the ball rolling. It's not going to happen. One, it's not going to happen overnight. So that's why I'm saying you need to prep them. Okay? Prep them. Let's have a break real quick.
Looking at the height of my side, a beauty that you cannot deny. Oh, I love the Serengeti as I watch the sunrise.
Okay, and we're back. So that again is just little instructions on how to purchase Afro-Ethiopia, song. So my intent here is to give you some value. Now, granted, I have a lot more value to give. Now, you just don't give all the keys to the paradise, okay? And just be, my own quirky self. But I want to give you some gems and nuggets that I feel would be beneficial for you to use as you make this conquering of moving abroad as seamless, as smooth as can possibly be. Okay? And so with all of the happenings that are going on across the world, we're having to adjust as adults. So know that children will have to adjust too. It's just that for us, yes, they're resilient, but as adults, we can tend to do without certain things versus children if we don't set the parameters now. Okay. So just a quick one. How are you going to prepare your children for Al-Kebulon, which is education over indoctrination? Educating them properly, or do you want to just move them along into a system and not deprogram? That's part of it as well. So, yeah. Now, if anyone wants to come on here, I like to stay up for about an hour. If anyone wants to come in, provide some insight, maybe have some questions, let me get the link here. Oh, goodness. You know what? I don't think. Oh, hello, Charlie. The world. So your mental thinking should have changed with it. Agreed. Agreed. Let me look here because of the fact that this is going to be a mess. Hold on. Now you all know that I'm special. Okay. To get the link because of the fact I could not go on my computer and I have no understanding as to why I'm going to have to go and get the link elsewhere. So if anyone wants to come on, just give me a second. I need to go and get the link first. I will get it. Okay. Okay. Now I'll come back here. Here we go. I'm pasting it in the chat now. Okay, there we go. So if anyone wants to come in, do a little chit chat. Thank you, Synovia, for always being a great moderator. So shout out to the moderators out there that's holding it down for the channel holders. I always see my sister in so many different chats, but she does a great job and she's very supportive. Synovia is very supportive and I love that about her. So if anyone wants to come in, we have put the link for you down there. But just know it's not going to be easy, but we can alleviate some of the stress. We can alleviate some of the stress. Okay? Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes. You're welcome. You're welcome. I know Exodus 8:76 will be coming in here talking about, I heard you singing. Keeping it techie. What's happening, bro? How are you? Check your inbox. Check your inbox. Check your inbox. Yes. So I'm looking back through here. We got Charlie, Matt, Kaya, Angie. Okay. Now, if you don't want to come onto the stream, I will end it earlier. And I recognize today is a U.S. holiday. I don't do holidays. I just thought about that. Today is a U.S. holiday, and here I am over here bothering you and yours, huh? Am I bothering you folks and yours? So, Novia, what are you doing on this holiday besides over here modding for me? That could be too, but I just noticed that in previous times, as I was saying, I noticed that my live stream chat seemed to be shrinking. And I told you what Massive Dynamic has done. They have sent these emails saying blah, 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 blah. I mean, keeping it real means that you're harsh. Then I guess that's what it is. Massive Dynamic is something else. Nick talks about Massive Dynamic all the time. Yes, indeed. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so, well, then we're going to wrap up. I put the link in the chat if no one wants to come on. We're going to wrap up. For those of you who will catch the replay, I hope that this can give you some value, but please plan and start ahead if you're trying to do this and move internationally with your children. And your children are of school age and all this stuff. Give them less headache, and then they'll give you less headache. How about that? Give the children less headache, and they'll be sure to give you less headache. All right. So we're going to run the NFT, how to get the song again, and then we're going to call it a night. All right. Lizzabitty.
Looking at the height of my side, a beauty that you cannot deny. Oh, I love the Serengeti as I watch the sunrise. No matter where you come from.
All right. You all have a good one. There's a video out.